We all know pretty much about how land animals reproduce. It's common knowledge and not at all mysterious. On the other hand, sea creatures are so bizarre and sometimes unfathomable. Watch this video until the end to know the craziest way sea creatures give birth. Number 10. Stingrays. Stingrays are like giant birds of the sea. They're often seen on reefs feeding on mollusks, planktons, crustaceans, and sometimes small fish. And although they are not usually aggressive, stingrays are feared for their venom and may attack humans when provoked. The most fascinating thing about stingrays is the way they reproduce. Male rays can sense electrical signals given off by the female when she's ready to copulate. Like other animals, male rays have to undergo courtship before the female agrees to be fertilized. Males and females need to mate for 7 months before the female can ovulate. So if you see a fever of stingrays, and yes, that's actually what you call a group of them, there is a high chance that those are traveling pairs, or you may have stumbled upon them during their mating season. Stingrays are viviparous, meaning they give birth to live young rays, and while they do have eggs, they stay inside mom's body, with the baby stingrays feeding on the yolk as they develop. Mother rays also provide uterine milk if the nutrients in the yolk sac are depleted. Watching these majestic animals giving birth to live young really is a sight to behold. Number 9. Seahorse. It's the females of every species that conceive and give birth. That's just common knowledge. However, in the case of seahorses and sea dragons, males are the ones who give birth. They are really involved dads, protecting the eggs inside his body, and as soon as it's time, gives birth to teeny tiny baby seahorses. Like many animals, seahorses and sea dragons undergo a courtship ritual before mating, with males wooing females in order to mate. After the female agrees, they fertilize the egg inside the male's pouch, where they will be carried until they hatch. These tiny seahorses and sea dragons will not immediately leave daddy's pouch upon hatching. When danger approaches, they flee for the relative safe zone of their dad. Unfortunately for them, daddy's care stops when the fries leave the pouch, so they have to think of a way to survive the big ocean on their own. Number 8. Sea cucumber. You may be surprised to see this animal on here, and yes, for those of you in doubt, sea cucumbers are living, breathing things. Despite their names, they aren't sea plants, and yes, some of them do give birth. What often happens is that male and female cucumbers will release their sperm and eggs into the water, and fertilization is left to happenstance. Those eggs, which were lucky enough to be fertilized, fall onto the sea floor, sometimes being taken care of by their mother, often left alone to hatch on their own. However, some species of female sea cucumbers will fertilize their eggs inside their bodies, and as soon as the babies are ready to be born, they are ejected from mom's body through an opening near the cucumber's anus. Other females, such as the strawberry sea cucumber, will gather fertilized eggs in the water and insert them in a special pouch integrated into her body. The babies will hatch and be protected under their mother's pouch until they're ready to be born. Number 7. Cichlids. Cichlids are weirdos when it comes to reproduction. They are popular pets and have the highest rate of successful captive breeding. It is probably due to the breeders feeding them while they brood, and the natural threat to their young is eliminated. Although they are popular aquarium fishes, the way they reproduce will either amaze or horrify you. Either way, it is pretty crazy how these seemingly harmless fish hide a deep and astonishing secret. Their species is known as mouth breeders. Nope, they don't swallow the young, and not their eggs either. When a female cichlid lays her eggs, she immediately scoops it up and keeps it in her mouth. When the female is done scooping her eggs, she will find a partner to fertilize them. Now this next step could be a bit gory. The female cichlid will latch on the male's tail. Then the male will release its semen to fertilize the egg on the female's mouth. In there, the baby cichlids will grow and hatch and be protected from predators by their mom. Number 6. Cuckoo catfish. Cuckoo catfish have sinister breeding habits, which are closely related to that of cichlids. What happens is that a female cuckoo catfish will lay her fertilized eggs near cichlids, who just so happen to be laying eggs at the same time. And as female cichlids are known to do, they scoop not only their eggs, but also the cuckoo catfish's eggs into their mouths. And to make sure there's enough room for her own eggs, the female catfish will devour some cichlid's eggs while laying her own. As nature would have it, catfish eggs hatch faster than cichlids, so as soon as the tiny cichlids hatch inside their mom's mouth, they are greeted by bigger and hungrier catfish hatchlings that make easy meals of them. Just a few cuckoo catfish hatchlings can easily wipe out the tiny cichlids, and as soon as they run out of them, they'll start eating each other. This leaves the poor cichlid mother utterly confused as she barfs out catfish instead of her own babies, wondering if there was a mix-up at the nursery. Number 5. Flatworms. Flatworms are sea creatures that, despite their name, bears no resemblance to the slimy, wriggling things you see in your garden. Some of them, in fact, are extremely vibrant, colorful, and beautiful to look at. They make it onto this list because of their not one, but two modes of reproduction. One through sexual reproduction, you know, the normal birds and bees stuff, and two, which is asexual reproduction. And even when reproducing asexually, they still have a couple of options in which to go about it. First, when mates are scarce, they can grow buds. Like flowers, the flatworm will grow buds across the parent's body and form a budding chain until it is ready to separate and be with another flatworm. Another method of asexual reproduction is called transverse fission. Like some species of worms, they can separate their body and form another flatworm. Some species can even segment their bodies into several pieces. Number 4. Yellowhead jawfish. The yellowhead jawfish is one of the bravest fish in the sea. Despite its size, it is protective and has excellent fight-or-flight instincts. It's also one of the most popular aquarium fishes in the market. Like the cichlid, this species is also a mouth breeder. But instead of the mothers carrying their young, the father yellowhead jawfish is in charge of their eggs. The female will lay her eggs inside the male's mouth, and he would be left to fertilize it. During this period, the male will not eat. He must also spit out the eggs every now and then to aerate them. It is truly a fascinating sight to see it spit and suck its own eggs. After 7 to 9 days, baby yellowhead jawfish will hatch. They will stay in their father's mouth until they are ready to be released, or about 1.5 centimeters long and can make their own burrows in the sand like their parents. Meanwhile, as they are still growing, father yellowhead jawfish will continue to protect and defend them from all predators. Number 3. Frilled shark. Frilled sharks are on this list not because of the unusual way they give birth. Although popping an average of 6 pups in the water can be amazing, frilled sharks are here because of their extraordinary gestation period. Humans carry babies inside their wombs for 9 months, and to some moms, that's long enough. Elephants, on the other hand, have the longest gestation period of up to 22 months. For frilled sharks, pregnancy can last for years. 3.5 years to be exact. That's because, unlike most animals, their young are not connected to a placenta. Like chickens, their young are encased in an egg-like capsule. Due to the depth in which they live, the frilled shark has a slower and more extended gestation period because their warmth is combated by the cool waters of the deep. While inside their mom's tummy, the young feed on the yolk and hatch inside their mom's body as well. This living fossil definitely takes its time before entering this world. Number 2. Octopus. When it comes to ultimate sacrifice for their kids, you can find no better example than the octopus. From mating to giving birth to a new batch of baby octopuses, they literally give them their lives. It all starts from courting. Flirting in the octopus's world can be dangerous. The smaller male octopus may be treated as a meal by the female instead of a potential mate. Once the courting stage is done, the male octopus will deposit sperm packets inside the female's mantle cavity, where her eggs are located. These sperm packets can fertilize and produce hundreds of thousands of octopus eggs. After he fertilizes the eggs, he can either be a meal to the mother octopus or waste away and die. On the other hand, the female octopus is on her journey to starvation. She starves and soldiers on while carrying her young. In desperate times, she may even eat herself to sustain long brooding periods before babies can hatch. Her starvation will usually last about 5 months in most species or until the eggs finally hatch. After that, she will waste away and fulfill her final duty in life, which is to be the first food for her babies. Number 1. Dolphins. Many of you wonder why dolphins are on the top of our list. Well, it's because not only are they fascinating, but the way they give birth is also intriguing. It all starts with some somewhat aggressive courting, where males fight over females. Next is the gestation period. Depending on the species, a dolphin may carry its young for a minimum of 11 months to a maximum of 17 months. The exciting part is the birthing process. When the female is ready to give birth, other females in the pod surround her, as if in support and guide her through the birthing process, and also to protect her from predators. Like most mammals, baby dolphins are born live. They go out tail first and don't know how to swim to the surface to even breathe. This can be dangerous to the young pup, so while the mother is still weak from childbirth, the various ants in the pod will take turns guiding and propelling the young pups to the surface to breathe. Once the new mommy dolphin is strong enough to care for her pup, she will take over the duty and occasionally assist other new mothers in the pod. What a supporting family, right? See you guys later.